Hey, hello! Welcome to the show. It's me, JP. It's time for JP's product pick of the week. You're just in time. Actually, I'm a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. So let's do this. I've got a really cool product pick for you this week. You're going to get it half off. Let me verify that. Check my, refresh my page here. This week's product, boom, it's going to be 50% off. And if you want to watch this show from inside of the product page and go jump on this great deal right now, you can head to that URL or that QR code. It's product 5768, product ID 5768. And there's no need for a coupon code. Just put it in your cart and buy it before the show is over or just a few minutes after, and you will get it on instant and fantastic discount. So before I say any more, let's jump back a little bit in time and have Lady Ada tell us all about this week's product pick. Take it away, Lady Ada.
The Prop Maker Feather is the latest in our RP2040 all-in-one feather line. This is because we had a lot of people who were making projects with our Prop Maker Feather wing and the Feather M4. And the Feather M4 has been really hard to keep in stock because the 7051 is still affected by the chip shortage somehow. And people also had to solder it together, and there's two pieces, and they wanted better quality audio. And so I was like, maybe I'll just make it all in one feather. Actually, that's giving myself too credit. Dan Halbert said, why don't you make it all in one feather? And I was like, that's a good idea. So I did so. So what this has, we'll go to the next image, is on the left-hand side, you've got your USB-C and your battery input and your RP2040 chip. So it's a dual-core 130 megahertz processor. So you can do sensing, play back audio, do CircuitPython or MicroPython or Arduino with it. There's a reset button. There's a bootloader button. You can also use as a user button. After it's booted, you can use it as an input. There's a STEMMA QT port, 8 megabytes of flash, so lots of space for storing audio files or sound fonts, whatever you want to call them, or animation instructions. There's an accelerometer kind of in the top right corner. It's a LIST 3DH 3-axis accelerometer with tap detection, so really good for motion sensing. On the bottom right, there is an I2S Max 98357 3-watt digital amplifier. So this takes digital signal I2S from the RP2040, so it gives you really high quality audio output, up to 3 watts. So it's good for powering fairly large speakers for props and robotics and animatronics. There's also a little servo port. We had a little space left over, and I was like, well, what are we going to use it for? And I think Phil B was the one who was like, can you stick a servo connection there? I don't know. Somebody said so, and I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. So I did. So you can plug and play a servo inside, and then there's terminal blocks for the outputs. So the NeoPixels.
I don't know what happened there. It just cut off. Don't think that's going to play. I think I made a boo-boo on editing that video. So we'll never know the full story of what Lady Ada thinks of it, but I think she likes it. Sorry about that. So let me talk about some of the differences here between the Feather Wing and the Feather. But first, let me just intro this. So sorry for that. I got taken off guard by my video snafu. So let's bring up that video right there, and I will also shoot this little down cam view at the same time. Let's see if I can fit me in there. There we go. So this right here is this week's product pick of the week. It is the Prop Maker Feather RP2040. That right there. So just like our previous Prop Maker Feather Wing, this is designed for doing your basic prop needs for light, sound, input, and a little bit of something fancy, in this case, the servo motor output. But unlike the Feather Wing, this is an all-in-one solution. So this is the microcontroller right there. You can see it's the RP2040, just like in any of our beloved Pico and RP2040 based boards. And this then has the onboard accelerometer, it has a NeoPixel driver, it has the I2S amplifier. So we've improved the quality. Now we have digital audio quality for the output. We have an input for a button. And one of the things you'll notice is that we now have built onto here, instead of a bunch of different types of ways to plug your stuff in, it really varied on the prop maker Featherwing. This one has a really nice, neat set of screw terminals right here on the back, and if you flip that over or look at the other picture that I have there, that lower picture, you can see we have the speaker outputs that's listed as plus and minus for audio on 4 to 8 ohm speakers. Then we have a button input, and then we have the 5-volt for the NeoPixels. We have a ground, which you'll use both for NeoPixels and for the button input. And then we have the NeoPixel data line. We also have, as you can see right here, the ground 5-volt and servo lines. So those connect to pre-soldered headers. So one of the really nice things about this is there's no soldering required for your basic usage, unlike with the Featherwing, which you had to have a feather with some sort of pins on it, header pins, and on the Featherwing. This is all in one. You can plug and play this as long as you got a screwdriver and some wires. You can plug into this. You can plug standard servos right in here. You can use any of our Stemma QT outboard stuff just by plugging into that Stemma QT/quick port. And then we have battery charging for our typical LiPo battery usage. We also have a jumper you can cut here if you want to use some alkaline or other types of batteries that can't be charged. You can cut this trace here, and then it's safer to use, or safe to use, a battery pack, which is really nice for certain types of costuming needs and for prop uses. We also have jumpers back here to adjust the gain of the output. And what I'd like to do is show you a typical use when you're building a prop. So first of all, I'll mention, let me go to this view of the world here. I will mention that our good friend Lars actually has the prop maker Featherwing and I think it's a M4, Feather M4 inside of him. So I use the accelerometer. You might or might not be able to hear this on my lavalier mic. Yeah, he's a little quiet. But I'm using tap detection to turn on and off. He's so creepy. And then I've got battery charging through this little foot port here. But this is a project that you could do now with the prop maker Feather instead of using the wing plus a feather. So it gets cheaper, smaller, and easier, which is really great. This Lars was done using CircuitPython. I also have a prop I want to show you that is a little more. I'm going to turn Lars, make him be quiet for a second. I'll show you a project where, let's say you have to really quickly throw together a prop, or maybe not quickly, but here's one that I threw together really quickly using a squirt gun. This is a Super Soaker, a Nerf Super Soaker, and it is essentially unmodified. All I've done is I removed the barrel just because it was longer than anything I wanted to see there. But this has the prop Featherwing, this has the prop maker Feather RP2040 right here, and you can see wired to it I have a servo, I have a speaker, and I have a NeoPixel strand, and all of that is just screwed right in. In fact, there's no soldering going on here. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to turn off my AC for a second, and hopefully I don't melt, but that'll improve this mic's ability to pick up audio from that speaker. I just used a little piece of wire to bridge the enable pin. So you can hear, we've got some random noises, random sounds that are being played. We have sweeping of this servo here. So imagine this is like a ghost detector or something like that. We have rainbow NeoPixels running here, also just screw terminaled right in there. And then I have a button that I've connected, again, just with some plug-in wiring that will allow me to adjust some features of the prop. So in this case, I'm just setting the color of the NeoPixels, either a full bright white or the rainbow pattern that I have going there. Okay, so let me see if I can fix up my view here for a second so I don't have to hold it. Let's focus that up. There we go. So there you can see, I can boost my exposure a little bit too. That'll blast out the NeoPixels a little. Oh, whoa, that was white balance, sorry. There we go, now we got exposure. Okay, so you can see it right there. This, as I zoom in here, is the prop maker taking care of basically everything. You can see I have, whoops, I have a floppy camera arm going there too. All sorts of things are breaking. Focus a little harder in there. So you can see here I've got a LiPo battery underneath. And this is just the battery port that I took out. There were 4 AA batteries for the regular squirt gun. So I just, to make this nice and easy, there's plenty of space. You could put this inside. You could route your wires more neatly. But if you're just trying to come up with a quick prop, something for a party, for Halloween, for a stage effect, for something in a background in a video or something like that, really great choice here. You can see I've got the USB-C plug there, which is open wide. I can plug in there for power, or if I want to power this off of a power bank, that's great. That'll charge this this LiPo battery that I have underneath here, and it's a pretty decent sized one, so this should run for quite a long time. You can see my button in action. That'll adjust the lighting there. And that is ready to go. So nice solution. You could use this for some simple robotics too. Oh gosh, my camera really just... There we go. Try to keep that balanced there. The camera's on the way out. Let's fix the focus there. So some robotics projects you more likely use something like a Cricut for more DC motors and drivers and so on. But for some simple things, you may get away with especially costume effects, prop effects, where you want just have a little bit of movement, a little bit of button input. Still have the accelerometer on here, so we can do some neat accelerometer stuff if you want to do tap detection, or you want to change sound effects or lighting effects as you move it. DJ Devin says, yeah, you kind of don't want to get into a squirt gun fight with all this exposed wiring, that's for sure. I won't run water through this, I promise. So let me turn this back off. Again, I'm just using a piece of wire to connect the enable pin to ground. And that has the effect of turning that off. And let's go back. I'm going to turn this AC on before I expire. And let's look at product page here. So if you want to get one of these, I think they're still in stock. Let's see. They are still in stock. It says we have 56 in stock. So $9.98, that's the half off price right now. Just throw it in your cart and buy it. You don't need to use a coupon code or anything. And that'll get you the RP2040 Prop Maker Feather, and this has the I2S audio on it. You can scroll down here, check out some of the other facts on this. One nice thing about this is that you can just use CircuitPython or Arduino code. I think you can use this also in MicroPython with the typical libraries that exist for these subsystems. So if you look at, I've got some example code here. Not the code exactly that I'm running on here. I happen to be running the Arduino code on there. And, but this is some pretty similar code that you'll find in the Learn guide that Liz put together. So this has, you can see here, we're using things like Audio Core, Audio Bus I/O, and Audio Mixer to do wave playback, or yeah, so this is wave playback over the I2S amplifier. We're also using PWM for servo. We're using Digital I/O for checking the button. You can also use the onboard boot button as a second button. So without even wiring something, if you need to change a setting, you have that right there. We've got NeoPixel. We're using some LED animation rainbow motor servo, and the List 3DH is the accelerometer on board that we can use for either single tap, double tap, and for any of the 3 axes of accelerometer reads. Then this is being set up with the external pin for power, the wave playback over I2S using mixer. We've got servo control in here. We have that extra button, external NeoPixels. This is set as a strand of 30 by default, and then the accelerometer. And then if you load this up, or even just the default that it ships with, it ships ready to go. So when you open up the little bag and grab one of these, go ahead and just try it out. Plug in some NeoPixels on the back there. It will immediately start doing a rainbow animation. You can turn on and off the onboard NeoPixel using the onboard boot button as a user button. Servo is ready to go. Just plug that in there. We had a question over in the chat about some good servos to start with. We're sold out of both of these, but they are a great choice. The standard Tower Pro servo or this micro servo, those both work great. They just happen to be sold out. I think if you click on those, you might find a link to buy them elsewhere, such as DigiKey. But nearly any hobby servo you can imagine will work just great with that pinout. It's a pretty typical pinout of power, ground, and the position data. There are a couple great guides already out using this brand new feather version of the prop maker. So you can see here there's the Mario Magic Wand by the Ruse Brothers, and there's this great collaboration with the Ruse Brothers and Liz Clark for the Adabot toy robot friend. And you can see the, let me switch over to the site here. You can see the little GIF animation there. So this is using the servo to move the head. It says phrases. It has a NeoPixel 8 NeoPixel board for the mouth animation. Some really clever light blocker to make that straight line actually look like a curve without any bleed through. And this also has, I believe, accelerometer for going to sleep. And some other cool features. So look at those, but also if you check out any of the pre-existing prop maker feather wing projects, you will be able to use probably 80% of those without change. There were a couple of differences, like I said. We now have I2S audio instead of a DAC. There's no longer the high power RGB analog LED driver that was on the other one. But depending on the project, I'm sure some of the cool lightsaber and Zelda prop projects that the Ruse Brothers and others have done will work really great with this one. And it's just smaller now, so that means you can fit that board in a smaller handle on a prop project, which is really cool. Let's see, what else? What am I missing? I think that'll probably do it. Let me know if you've got any questions in the chat. That's some nice pictures of it right there. Chris S. asked, it does not have Wi-Fi, right? Which most look-alike of this one do, if you want to have Wi-Fi. Yeah, so if you wanted to use Wi-Fi on this one, you would need to use a separate module for Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, I haven't thought about it too much. If anyone has any ideas in the chat of a way to add like an ESP32 S2 as a coprocessor to this, is there any reasonable, easy way to do it? I don't think we have any Wi-Fi over I2C. That would be nice, but I don't think that exists. So you're probably looking at a SPI or a SPI module of some kind to add that. You can also use a feather with another feather if you're really careful. Don't just plug them into each other, but essentially over serial you can use other modules. Let's see. Oh, good. David King over in the YouTube says, great timing on this. I had them in my cart, was going to order tomorrow. So just doubled my quantity and ordered them today. Hey, that's nice. Airlift feather wing. Thank you. Yeah, over in the chat, Hem and Toddbot said there's the Airlift feather wing that would be worth checking out if you want to try to do a Wi-Fi add-on to this board. So you could certainly do it this way. You could also use a Wi-Fi capable board and the prop maker feather wing. So we have kind of two ways you can slice that. But I think this one is ideal for the simpler projects where you just want one board, no soldering, no Wi-Fi, no wireless in that case. Let's see. How sensitive is the tap detection? There are defaults for the tap detection that work great. I've used them, and it'll allow you to not have spurious reads until you really intentionally go in there and tap. I love the double tap because the timing is about, I think it's under 200 milliseconds requires, so you won't just get tap, tap, and it thinks you've asked for a tap, and it's less likely that just one hit versus a single tap will cause it. So I don't know. I think if you go to our product page, so you can get there by going to the primary guide, downloads, and then the data sheet for the list 3DH will tell you all you need to know about the different, I think it's a +2, +4, +8, and +16 scale that you can use for accelerometer. And I believe tap detection has some similar settings for tuning that in. Let's see, other questions. Oh, Matthew Hand is going to finish a Master Sword. That is excellent. Tackle the World says, yes, terminal blocks. I'm a huge fan. These are really great, and these are some nice, pretty small ones, just right for your typical stranded wire. I find these work better with stranded wire or a little crimp ferrule rather than a solid core. There's just not a lot to grip onto, so those can come out. Let's see. I don't recall, him asks if that's the full 4 ohm 3 watt output on Lars. I don't remember. He's kind of buried in some stuffing, so he's not super loud, but we can experiment with that. I can bring that on sometime and do some tweaks. Maybe it's time for Lars to get an upgrade. We'll see. Lars was using DAC audio output and not this I2S audio with whatever, I forget which built-in amplifier was on that one. All right, well, I think that's going to do it then. Have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. So head on over there. That's the URL if you want to go grab these before they're all gone. We have, let's see, I'm gonna double check. It's exciting to see. What do we have? We have 46 in stock. All right, so that means 4 of you could go and grab 10. That's the max per customer, and leave 1 for 6. Or lots and lots of you. How about 46 of you each go get 1? That would be great. So like I said, no coupon coded, just no coupon code needed. Just throw that in the cart and you'll get it for that price. All right, I think that's going to do it. Let's fire this wild thing back up. That is my product pick of the week this week. It is the Prop Maker Feather RP2040 all-in-one prop making board. Go get one. Build a prop. Build a costume thing. Build a Lars. That's very dangerous. Don't do it. All right, for Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this has been JP's product pick of the week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.